Well, hello there. My name is May, and please ignore my horrible art. I just wanted to kinda show something that, like, okay, I'm really big on like shading and color theory and all that. But the way I used to color, and I think I did for the majority of the time I was coloring, was really simple. Alright, so this is, I don't have a finished product. I'm narrating what I'm doing because I am not competent enough to make a video or anything that's actually good. Um, it's really just a lot of fading and shading and stuff that if a real artist saw you doing, they'd just scoff. So let's start on this dress. Fabric's hard, but you can just really simplify it. Alright, so first rule is you don't just make this color right here darker. You actually add a bit of, you know, variation, make it a little purpler. You don't gotta do that. Might look funny, but you shouldn't just make this, like dark. Now, if you want to be all technical, it's very good to use complementary colors and things like that to help make it, pop or help make it muddy it. But I'll try to keep all that to a minimum and just be like, hey, this is what you need to know to color. Anyway, so here in Sai, when you want to color on something, you want to pick clipping group, but everyone probably knows that. Alright, so you want to start with like your lightest color, that's a shadow, and then on top of that you'll put the colors that are darker than that shadow. So let's just say like her boobs cause the shadow, so you're putting that there. Yay! And the shadow goes down here, and then like, and this is probably wrong. This is probably totally wrong, but when I did the shadows on the dress, I was always like, okay, the legs are here, so that's probably like, the dress is probably, you know, sticking out where her legs are. That's not how dresses work. So I'd shade around the legs. And like I said, don't, like, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. But just like, you want to set, you think like, oh, she's cylindrical, she'll be more dark around this, and you're like, okay. Alright, so something I always did was I'd make a new layer for each thing because I was really cautious and I knew I was really bad. But you don't have to make a new layer for each added layer of darkness. Alright, so what I did was I just made this darker. Never go completely black. That's like the one thing you can't do. Unless, it's something that you can go completely black on. Like, the rules of art are fluid. Alright, so I made this darker. Now I forgot to put a little neck shadow here. Alright, and now we want to go as dark will get, which is this here. And this here. Alright. Now this looks pretty bad. Because you know what's missing? Highlights. Let's just go back here. Yeah. You can add highlights. So you know this part of the dress is closest to us, I guess. And you know, contrast the shadows with the light. Maybe her shoulders in there. I don't know. Alright. Now, let me... Anyway. Alright, so different tools give you different outcomes. Not what I wanted. So, let's say I want to use blur water, which is what I usually use now before I use blur. So, you just go like this. And bam! Like, you know, it's all a thing. And you just go like this, and you go like this, and then you kind of go like this, but you want there to be like, you know, kind of lines, but not really lines. But yeah, if I use the blur water tool, that's what I end up with. Now let's say you want to use, I don't know, what's a good tool? I think blur comes with every copy of Sai. Alright, now if you want to use blur, it'll look different. And I could try this out with like all the different tools and show you all the different outcomes, but like I figure you get the gist of it. Like different tools will give you a kind of different look. And I was really big on blur tool, but now I'm big on blur water tool. And blur kind of muddies it way more than the blur water tool. Like the blur water tool makes it look like, you know, gosh darn you, tablet. Yeah, probably need a new one. Like the blur water tool, using it kind of makes it look like a painting, whereas blur water tool looks like an oil, and this looks like an acrylic, basically. That's how I see it. So, come on. It's not even my tablet, it's Sai. Alright, so here's what it looks like with blur water. It's more art looking, and here's with blur, and I think it looks kind of more anime, and that was always a look I was going for. The only thing that's missing is nailed it. You, like, with this style, there shouldn't be highlights realistically, but come on. It just is so shiny. Alright. Now let's get to skin. Let's admire the new highlight. Yeah. let's get to skin. Alright, so let me be completely honest. It's best to use skin palettes. Like, it really is, because even if you have color theory down, it kind of gets a little confusing because there are so many tones. Like, because if you're just using mid, low, highlight, well, base tone, low tone, mid tone, highlight, and you only use 4 colors, it's going to feel really flat. So you want to use more than 4. And okay, I'm not all that sharp anymore, and I could never figure out how to get the color palette thingy to work. So, like, what I would say to do is just copy it in the skin layer, but I'm not finding one. Like, there are too many secret files, and I am too lazy to stop this video and then paste it together later. It's 8 a.m. and I woke up at 3 p.m. Anyway, so for skin, you want to have a skin palette. I don't got one right now. So when you go darker, you want to go more red. And like with the dress, you put down your lightest shadows first, because your lightest shadows, and put it on clipping group, like, you put the lightest shadows where there's the skin, and this is clipping group. Wait, yeah, that's right. Your lightest shadows have the darker shadows on top of them. And let me remind you, this isn't good color shading art theory. This is just quick. I want to make cool looking animu. This is what this is. Okay, you add a little color, and you saturate it, and you make it darker, and then you put down your lightest shadows, which is like right here, and then it's here, and I guess I don't know, here. Yeah, it's like all over the place. Yeah, I have a problem with skin tone. Like, I have no idea how to do it. That's why I need skin palettes. And then, I don't know, this arm's hidden, kinda. And I like to put the tips of the fingers, and maybe the wrist, I don't know. And then, I guess, like, the crook of her elbow, because it's, like, bending there. And then the wrist, and the tips of the fingers. Alright. And then the legs. Just be like, yeah, the skirt's here. And then it's like, oh, here's the knees. Knees. And what I always did that I just forgot about was like, ah, man, this brings back the memories. It's like, man, you guys don't know what I'm doing right now. But what I used to do is make everything tubes. Like, use like 10 shades just so everything would be tubes. Oh man, those memories are golden, man. Like, everything is a gradient. Alright. Now, we want a darker color. So we just go down here. Maybe I should. and we put the darker color down. And let me take time to note that when you're doing skin, you want and pretty much need for it to look good to have various colors so that it's not flat and lifeless. Now, here's why I'm not doing that. This is me pretending that I am in high school again. Not me trying to do a good job. Not me trying to inform you of the nuances of art theory. Me being a high school weeaboo again. And not just like a high school weeaboo. Freshman year high school weeaboo. Because those were the golden ages of the weeabooing. Like, I'm sure not many people look on to their weeaboo years with fondness, but mine were pretty okay. Made a lot of people uncomfortable. And maybe just add like, I don't know, what color is this supposed to be? Like green? Just really dark. Just like, put those in there. Okay, and this is going to basically just be like soft shading, right? You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have an equal mixture, basically, of soft and hard shading. But what did I say? These are a throwback Thursday to my weeaboo years. It's Monday. It's not the weekend. Got that much right. Alright. So this time I'm just going to use blur for it to be consistent. But first, Surrealty V. You see, this is how bad I am at staying in the lines. Anyway, here's our girly. And I'm just going to use blur because consistency, Alright. And here's the magic. And if you're worried about losing, you know, like losing a lot of your shading because of, you know, a bad finger, you can put all of the different shades on different layers. And that really did do a lot to boost my confidence because, of course, it was less of a problem if I really messed up one layer because, hey, guess what? I got like 10 layers dedicated to this one part of her dress. It's like CPU, data. This face is going to be bad. I could never do faces well. Alright, now, you know how much I love highlights? A lot. So we are going to, like before, come on, tablet. Stop messing with me. Ah! Okay, it's too light. Tablet does not want me to add highlights. Typical tablet, typical. So back to blurring. But yeah, in good art, you really need to strike a balance of soft and hard shadows. Of course, there are obvious exceptions, particularly with hard shadows in comic books and similar mediums. But yeah, this ain't fine art. This is, I got 10 minutes, tell me what to do. Copyright Flula. So yeah, here's some soft shaded legs. With some random highlight for some reason. Soft shaded arms. Soft shaded face. So, what next? Eyes. I can't get eyes right. I've tried. No matter what, I can't get eyes right. It is the bane of my existence. So let's just try. Alright, so clipping room. Alright, so let's just make it dark up here. What the heck? Where? The heck? Anyway. Alright, hopefully that fixed it. Alright, so let's start by just taking a dark color and going like this. And take a light color that I should have put down there first and doing like this. And taking blur, making it smaller, doing like this. And there's a gradient. Let's copy, paste, clipping, multiply, lower it, kawaii, kinda snap, just like more blob, eye things, and then go like this to kind of make them into a point. And you might be like, wow, that's making them not as thing. Well, you go to luminosity and it looks cool. You add little dots of color. Like, it took way better on this eye. I guess the blur tool is too big. My darn computer. Alright, so let me say something about hair. Hair is one of my favorite things to do, and for that reason, no matter how hard I cheaped out on everything, I put effort into the hair. So, okay, those eyes are bugging me. Just screw my usual process. Moe. Alright, so yeah, hair. Okay. Just, you go crazy with hair. You have so much fun with hair. No, I don't want you, luminosity. So the great thing about hair is just, man, there's so much great things about coloring hair. You want to So, like, you want to get your brush really big. And you just want to, giant sections. Just all over the place. And you just, strategic places. And then, what you want to do then is just in the opposite direction. Like, you fill in the spaces around it with the stuff. And you're like, woo! And you kind of want to do the alternate sections and stuff, like in the same brush sizes. So it's good contrast. Now, then you kind of want to choose a different color. Maybe make this one more blue. And you want to make it a smaller brush. And guess why it's a smaller brush? It's a smaller brush, so it's smaller segments. So the bigger segments give way to the smaller segments, and the smaller segments give way to the smaller segments. And here's the thing, even now, I'm seriously considering adding a new layer just because it's like, dude, there's so much you can mess up. And with an undo button, it's not that big of a deal. Like, oh man, I destroyed like an hour of work with a blur tool that was too big. It's like, no deal. Just press CTRL-V. No, CTRL-Z. It's like, woo! But there's a point where it's like, this doesn't even work. Now let's pick a smaller brush, and let's pick, I don't know, green for green measure. And just, you kind of do this. You just kind of do this thing. And the more realistic you want it to be, the more you do this. Now, something I should say is that it's probably better if you blend intermittently, not always after one layer, but sometimes after one layer. Like, sometimes after layers. Like, not always saving it for the end, because this is going to be a lot harder. Thanks to me being like, oh, one layer. And this isn't how I used to do hair, to be honest. I can't remember. I can't describe how I did it. I tried to do it K-style. Vocaloid guy style. Anyway. So this is going to be a little painstaking. You just blend. You try to let edges have a bit of integrity. This is gonna look awful, and I know it. Yeah, I should have done multiple layers. So, don't make my mistake and do the hair on several layers. It's been a long time since I've done it this way. And then so yeah, this, I don't remember how I did hair, to be honest. I'm trying to, like, modify my current style to fit the rest of what I remember to do. Anyway, so that's the hair. But what's it missing? Multiply. It is missing multiply. So pick your color and just go at it. Like at the tips, maybe here, maybe here. Maybe here, I don't know. But we're definitely here. And then you use blur and you make it big because you just want to be like that, that, that. Not that, because that's kind of like, you know. But do look good like that. I don't know. Now it's multiply. Now how do you make multiply look better? You just kind of back up on it a bit. Just make it a little less pronounced. Now you get to do the fun part. Luminosity. There are a lot of ways you can do the luminosity thing. You can use airbrush. Which is, you know, very weeaboo. Or you can do my thing, which is what I've been doing. And I really like blending stuff. That's something you probably noticed. But you see here? It's so... I really like to make things pronounced. That's one of my things. So I just blur this out. And then I blur this out. You see, the upside to using the airbrush for this is that it's more controlled. But I don't like control. I like anarchy. And another thing you can do is kind of like, there's a low light there, so you don't really want the highlight as much. And you know what you can do about this? I've lost my touch. Alright, so I don't know. Let's clean her up, which you should do beforehand. You know, like, cleaning it up should be... Cleaning up your base colors should probably be your first priority. But it's like, man, I'm doing a tutorial on a style that I really want to distance myself from. But it's really a good stepping stone. Like, if you can do this, like... Even if it's pretty unprofessional to do the soft shading only, if you can do this, it really teaches you about shadows and light and stuff, because you're going to be looking for the shadows, where they're the darkest, where they're the lightest, and it will give your piece depth. And if you just stop blurring it, like, it can just be cell art. But the thing is, I liked it. It looked better when it was blurred to me. It probably looked better to other people too, because I wasn't sure about the placement of my shadows. And by blurring them, it really hid how much I didn't know, because you couldn't really tell where what began and what where ended. So it just seemed like it looked better when probably didn't. And I do prefer soft shading, painting type coloring to cell shaded. Like, a clean cell shaded piece is hard as heck, and it's major respect, but I still would rather see that soft, like soft edges with just, enough hard edges for it to not just fade out. I took my Cerakote, by the way, and it's taken me like 26 minutes to do this. Oh, man. The hair's fine, isn't it? No, I'm good. I'll fix it. No, I don't post this as a speed paint. Yeah, that's a note I want to make. Like, having the eraser seem way too big for the job is awesome, because if you press down really lightly, it just does little bits. But if you press down hard, it can go like, buh, buh. But too big and it just doesn't work. Alright, so that's a girl. She doesn't look really good. And this art style, coloring style more so, isn't really supposed to be Picasso. It's not really supposed to be Rembrandt. It's more of a transitional stage. It's a stage where you learn about where shadows are instead of really learning how to portray the shadows. Get it? Like, It's a really good transition step, and if you're a professional artist using this, then no hate towards you. I'm just saying, like, I'm not telling you to do this if you're coloring better than this. I'm just saying, if you feel like you're not coloring this good and you wanna, this is how you do it. Send me messages if you want more details. It's basically that. I feel like, with the exception of the hair and the eyes, because screw that, and the face, because screw that. Like, it's just, I'm starting to get lightheaded. But, what's better than, oh, and FYI, I forget to do it. Something that a lot of people say you should do, almost everyone does, is when you're laying down the base colors, you want to put the background as something, as a color you're not using, usually lime green, so that you don't get you don't notice when white is poking through. I know there's white, so you notice when white is poking through so you can fix it. I know there's white poking through on this gal, so I shouldn't do this, but I am. So green, since you're supposed to do lime green, let's just do a bucket. And since we're doing a bucket, I have a cloud in here. So let's make green clouds. Yeah. This is a cloud. And she's standing in front of it. And here's another cloud. It's a happy cloud. And here's a happy cloud. And this has nothing to do with anything. But you can add textures. And I have a lot of them from I have no idea where. And you can make them big, you can make them small, you can make them hardcore or not hardcore. I actually have no idea how many I have, like I said. But yeah. And there's tons of tricks you can do. Just tons of quick, fun, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's working kind of stuff. Like, wait, why am I not using? Like, let's say that we want to really show off the highlights. So we'll do an eraser here, 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 blur. Now it looks all creepy and stuff, don't it? Like, that looks creepy as heck. especially with the, lights. But, just there's fun to be had here, guys. There's fun. So I hope this helps someone. May Blythe saying, take your Seroquel, kids. Go to bed before 2 a.m. and color your hearts out. Because really, having fun is one of the best experiences when it's safe and doesn't harm anyone. And have fun with art. I love you alls. Eyes.